All right. Welcome to DCT.
Episode 13. Ben, do you use a washcloth or a loofah? If you don't know, these are things that you use when people shower. Okay?
I shower twice a day.
Our listeners don't have to smell you. You do twice a day?
I shower twice a day.
That's stupid.
I shower when I wake up, and then I shower at the end of my day.
Actually, I do that too. I don't know why I was...
Yeah.
Well, twice a day made it sound like you're going to the gym. Like that's... and I know you don't. No, but twice a day. Yeah. No, I do morning. Yeah. Actually, that's a lie. I do a touch-up in the morning.
I was going to ask you about how much you wash your hair, but it doesn't matter because you don't really have any.
It's non-existent. So. I just use shoe polish.
Washcloth.
Yeah. I'm a loofah guy. But I replace my loofah. I don't stick with a loofah for too long. They grow bacteria.
Yeah.
So I got.
That's why I don't use loofah.
I wish I could wash a loofah.
Yeah, be crazy.
I also think
loofahs, right?
Yeah. I also think loofahs are just made of plastic, like plastic netting.
I think so, yeah.
I'm really kind of down on the loofah now.
You're I was kind very of anti-loofah.
Well, I had a loofah on a stick.
Oh.
And let me tell you, Ben, that was a wild experience. Well, that sounds terrible.
You're getting all up in your crevasses.
Well, I could reach every crevasse. Which was at one point unattainable. I'm going to stop doing this motion for our audio listeners. No, but it was nice because I can't reach certain parts on my back.
Yeah, just
but
like
loofah
everybody.
On a stick, no issues.
I'm a washcloth guy. I've never been a loofah guy. I tried a loofah. I've tried both. I just think the washcloth is more consistent.
It's more consistent and it's recyclable.
Yeah.
You can keep using a washcloth.
Yeah.
It's self-cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
A loofah's not. I feel like it holds. It holds.
I also hate like going into the shower at the end of the day and you pick up a loofah and it's wet.
Well, you have to air dry them.
Well, yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
But
you don't leave it in the slop.
Well, no. But I'm saying if you pick it up and it's wet, like,
do you know what's
crazy? I don't want to use
it
at all.
Is some people like just rub bars of soap on their body and call it a day.
Yeah.
We're not washing your hands here, folks. It's your frickin' body. Put some effort into it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Last question.
Yeah.
Do you use that same washcloth for your body as you do your face?
No. I have a separate washcloth.
So you still use a washcloth on your face?
Yeah.
For my face, I do just hands. I have a face cream.
The same hand that you were just sticking up your...
My loofah on a stick? Yeah. Yeah, same hand. But I use soap. If you want to know my full routine.
I don't.
We get in, loofah, dry loofah run. So I get the loofah wet, covered in soap, turn off the shower, apply soapage, then turn water back on, use loofah to rub off the soap, then water back off, clean hands, then face cream, apply to face, done.
You want to know mine? No.
No. All right. Some interesting playoffs happen. Round 2's officially over for the NHL and the NBA.
Thank God.
I want to die a little bit.
Yeah.
Caps suck. They're a terrible team, and I've never liked them. I don't have a room painted red, and I don't pray to Ovechkin every night. That never happened.
Now I want you to take that exact same statement, but replace it with Celtics, Green, and Jason Tatum. And it's the exact same thing for me.
The East was disappointing. Washington falls to Carolina. I was worried.
Yeah.
You know, we had expressed our concern. They end up losing. Carolina outshot them severely.
Now, quick question. You had Carolina, or you had Washington in how many games?
I had Washington in, I think, 6.
I think it was 6.
I think 6. Might have been 7, actually. I think I might have pushed that to 7.
I think it was 6.
But they didn't do it. Ovi looked different.
Flat.
They looked flat. It looked like they got past Montreal, and they were like, all right, we exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
You didn't. You were supposed to get past Montreal. You should have just put in more effort. I wasn't this upset because they didn't play well enough for me to be upset. Yeah. You know, Carolina deserved it, and I hate Carolina, but in that handshake lineup, I'm like, the best team won.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I'm excited for Dmitry Orlov. You know, Dima gets another shot. Hopefully they do well. Florida beats Toronto in 7.
You had them winning in 5?
Yeah, I did. Toronto blowing another series lead. Just the same story for them. Core 4 can't do it.
No.
So they end up losing to Florida. I had Florida winning, so I get 1 point. When it comes to Florida versus Carolina, I got to go Florida. There's just no way I see Carolina getting past them.
Really?
I just don't. The goaltending isn't there, comparatively speaking. Even though they shut down the Caps, I don't think it was an impressive shutdown. Not taking anything away from Carolina, we played terribly.
I think Carolina executed exactly how they were supposed to.
Yeah, I think they got outcoached. I think the Caps got outcoached. I love Carberry. He's a great coach. It's his second year. Brind'Amour was better.
Yeah, 100%.
Carberry took way too long to do line changes. He didn't move players around fast enough.
No.
He didn't fix the breakout issues with Carolina's hard forecheck of 2 forwards deep. He just didn't find a way to do it until it was too late.
No.
In the West in the NHL, Edmonton beat Vegas. They did it in 5 games.
Now, what was your prediction?
What the hell, dude? What the frick? I mean, are you kidding me? That was bullshit, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
I had Vegas winning. They screwed me because it's Vegas. And McDavid has proven yet again, apparently you don't need a team. You can just buy a German and a Canadian and get as far as you want.
So, quick question. First round, you had LA beating Edmonton in 6 games. And then second round, you had Vegas beating Edmonton in 6 games.
And now I got Dallas beating Edmonton in 6 games, Ben. Because it's going to happen. Dallas beats Winnipeg. I knew that was going to happen. I predicted the right amount of games because I'm a genius. They won in 6. They beat the heck out of Hellebuck. He did have 2 shutouts. Mark Scheifele on Winnipeg, his father did pass away. That's a shame. But he had a great game 6. Scored a goal. He did really well. It was nice to see the handshake lineup with Jamie Benn and all them. It's a shame. So shout out to Winnipeg. You know, what a great fan base and great team. But Dallas deserved that series. They win and they move on. And I have Dallas beating Edmonton because Edmonton's number one issue is their goaltending and their depth and their defense. Anything that doesn't have McDavid or Draisaitl attached to it is their number one weakness.
Oh, yeah.
But Dallas, I think, can do it because they've cleared, I would say, the 2 best teams. You got rid of Winnipeg and you got rid of the Avalanche.
That, I think, really gives me your vote of confidence. That was how I just spoke
I
Canadian there.
know Dallas can beat Connor McDavid and that stupid bunch of Tim Hortons munchers because they're better. They're a better team. Ottinger's a better goaltender. Your defense is way better with Miro Heiskanen back, and your forward lines have more depth, and I would arguably say more star power. Rantanen has been the number 1 player this playoff.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Robo, Rantanen, Rope, Hintz. It's unreal. Sagan, Duchesne. It's a crazy team.
Yeah.
I got to go Dallas.
So,
let's go to the NBA before I lose my shit.
Just want to make a quick note before we hop over. So last year was Panthers-Oilers in the finals, and you said, okay, let's keep the Panthers in the finals, but just because I don't like the Oilers, we're going to keep them out again.
Not because I don't like the Oilers.
Because
I hate the Oilers. I hate their team buildup. I hate what they do to McDavid, making him play like a god every night, and then when he doesn't get 3 points, crapping on him and being like he just had an off night. It's not fair to the guy. I don't like the guy, but he's the best hockey player I've ever seen in my life. He deserves more help, and I hope he leaves. I hope he goes to a team that gives him more support. Go to Winnipeg. I don't care. Go to another Canadian team, but get the support you deserve. Edmonton doesn't give it to him. It's ridiculous.
Tell me how you really feel.
It's a waste.
Let's hop over.
NBA.
So, my predictions in the East were...
Yeah, you got screwed there, buddy boy.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
The trash
Indiana
man.
played amazing in that series. And I will say Cleveland had some injuries, but that's not the reason why they lost.
No, the Cavs didn't.
They just didn't play up to their potential. And that is not the time that you can't be playing up to your potential. So...
Caps did the same thing.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
How about Boston? For those of you who don't know, Boston is Ben's favorite team. How about Tatum? His favorite player.
Nope. Unacceptable.
We can skip over that. Get it? Because he hurt himself. He probably can't skip for a while. That's not funny. I feel bad for the guy.
Why are you the way that you are? I mean, every time I try to do something,
it was a failed operation.
I made it through. Not that way. I hate everything about the things that you choose to be.
Is that Toby?
Yeah.
That's Michael to Toby.
But no, this Boston series, I think if Tatum was healthy, it would have gone 7, and I don't see the Celtics losing at TD Garden in Game 7, but New York had outplayed us for 4 games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them their flowers. They did well.
Yeah.
I do have Indiana getting to the finals.
You haven't beaten
I haven't
New York?
beaten New York. And
I think that's fair. New York's done really well. It's been a Cinderella story to an extent.
It's been great. And honestly, it's kind of an upset pick because in the 3 games that they played against each other this year, New York has won 2. But I've been doubting Indiana this whole playoff run.
Yeah.
And they've just been consistently proving me wrong. So while nobody saw this conference finals being the one that it is now, I do have Halliburton going to the finals.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think a lot of people are rooting for Indiana. I think even the mayor of New York is, after realizing all the damage he has to clean up. So
yeah,
you got Indiana going on to the final. Let's go to the West.
That Denver series turned out exactly how I said it would.
Yeah.
Winning in 7.
That was a good
winning
pick.
In 7.
Dominated that game, too.
Just depth scoring. That's what decided the entire series. You had OKC brought their bench off. They scored in clumps. Denver's bench could not get anything going. Russ was fine the whole series. Peyton Watson, good player off the bench, but your entire rotation was 7 guys.
It's not enough.
It's not doable. You can't do that, especially not against a team like OKC who has 12 guys running deep.
That you can cycle through and feel like you're still fielding the same product.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how Denver respond to it in terms of who
off
they bring
season
back
and what
year.
they kind of do.
But it's every team in the West against OKC, I feel like.
Yeah.
So now that Minnesota series, I did predict the correct result. Now, albeit if Steph had played, I think it would have been a different series. But Jimmy did not perform the way I thought he was going to.
I am a firm believer that you can't turn on talent.
Yeah,
so when you have players that cruise through the regular season and then expect to bring it for come postseason, I just don't think it's suitable.
I mean, that's what he's done for the last 5 years.
I understand, but I don't think it can happen every time.
Yeah, obviously it didn't. So. But yeah, I got the 1 point there. So 3 points from the West, 0 from the East.
And last round, I finished with 11 points. Sorry, I finished with 8 points.
Yep.
You finished with 7.
But I got the extra point.
However, this bastard, in an attempt to make things even, did get a question right, a hot shot question, in which you were awarded 1 playoff point.
So 8-8 after round 1.
And now it is 11-11. We both take 3 points from round 2. A disappointing round 2 for the both of us.
Yeah.
Although I will say I'm proud of us for predicting at least one series exactly right.
Yes.
Good job. I respect you.
If
Your
it had been
ball knowledge is impressive.
If it had been 2-2, I would have felt very upset.
I'm not mad at hell as you for not saying good hockey knowledge to me after I complimented your fat ass, but thank you. Let's move on.
That seemed a little targeted. Do we want to try a different segment?
We're going to step away from sports for a second, folks. We've been seeing a lot about gorillas and 100 men.
Whoa.
I could have phrased that way better.
Gorillas versus
gorilla versus 100 men. And what 100 men would people pick?
Yeah.
We're not going to pick 100, but we've each picked 5.
We're also opening this up to men and women. We're trying to be inclusive.
We are inclusive because we understand that women have just the equal right to get murdered by a gorilla as us men do. So do you want to start off with your first pick for the top 10 humans to go up against this gorilla?
Now, are we sending them at him in this order? Like my 5?
We are going in order.
Okay.
One by one at the gorilla. So these are our top 10 picks for 100 men versus a gorilla. 100 people versus a gorilla.
10 of each of these people.
10 of each.
My first person that I will be sending at the gorilla is Taylor Swift.
I don't think that's how we're supposed to do the list.
I think that it's for a reason, you know? I think that first person the gorilla sees, it's just
You can't just sacrifice someone you don't like. We want to beat the gorilla.
I can, and I am doing it. Taylor Swift going at the gorilla in her wildest dreams.
I knew you were trouble. Sorry, that's...
Yeah.
For my number 1 pick, I got Danny DeVito, the trash man.
Trash man.
He's nimble. He's small. He can break his glasses and use it as a shank. I think he does more damage than the gorilla's expecting.
I disagree.
Taylor Swift is going to rock that monkey's world. No, is it rude to call a gorilla a monkey?
No.
Are they different families?
Let's just call it a gorilla.
Are monkeys and gorillas different? And what are chimps?
I really don't know the genealogy of a monkey, chimp,
and baboon.
Gorilla. Nope, we're not getting into this.
All right. Who's your second pick?
My second pick, now that I'm done with my sacrificial offering to the gorilla, is Dwayne Johnson. I think
The Rock.
The Rock would do well. I think if, he's in the top 1% of people that would
I feel
have a
like
chance.
if you let The Rock go up against that gorilla, he'd just be like, my dad was actually a really great guy. And then he'd just be dead in 10 seconds.
You ever seen Rampage?
Was that the albino gorilla?
Yeah.
How did that end?
I think the gorilla almost dies, but then it doesn't die, and then flicks Dwayne Johnson off.
Oh, all right.
That's it. Who's your second person?
For my second person, this is easy. I had to go Mike Tyson. This is the same man who tried to bribe a zookeeper with 10 grand to fight a gorilla back in the day.
Imagine, paying somebody to die.
I just can't picture Mike Tyson going in there and losing. I just don't. I see him coming out, dragging the head, being like, it wasn't even a fair fight. I mean, the guy, he didn't even know how to bite. His teeth were too small. I loved him. I missed the gorilla. He would destroy it. Yeah. I got Mike Tyson as my number 2 pick. Who do you got number 3?
Number 3. Now, 2 through 4 for me are all just large, muscular men. My favorite. And for 3 for me, it will be Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq will give it a tough time.
Shaq, especially after The Rock, Shaq is going to beat that thing down.
As long as it's not in free throw range, he's got a shot.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be shooting 50% on that gorilla. But
what a statement. That's a reasonable number 3.
Yeah.
For my number 3, I went with a similar route. I tried to think of one of the biggest, strongest, most stopping power people I could think of.
Bryce?
Close. I went Francis Ngannou.
That's almost the same person.
We are one and the same. I mean,
that's a good pick.
They did a measurement on his hitting power. It was a car. It was like a vehicle that he hits
That's
at.
insane.
So it might have been a Toyota. I don't know, but it was still impressive, even if it's a Prius.
Don't rag on Toyotas.
Don't rag on Toyotas. No, but I mean, I got to go Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. I like that pick.
Yeah, me too. Who do you got number 4?
4, I'm going to go with David Robinson. Now, I don't know if you've seen what the Admiral looks like. He's yoked. He's 7 feet tall, and he is...
I don't think Jokic matters to a gorilla.
Jokic? R.I.P. But, no, he would do damage against that gorilla. And now, we're also keeping in mind, this is right after 10...
That's after Francis Ngannou.
10, after Francis Ngannou. After 10 Shaqs, after 10 the Trash Man.
Dude, 10 trash cans being hurled at you is a lot of trash. And he's got to eat 10 Taylor Swifts. That's a lot of...
What if he gets distracted? What if there's bananas in the trash can?
He could distract them. Then I should have picked Mario.
Mario?
Banana.
Oh, yeah.
You fool. All right, that's a fair pick.
Yeah.
You're going with the Admiral.
Yeah.
For my number 4, I went with Sylvester Stallone. You ever seen Rambo? My goal with Sylvester Stallone is I think he actually speaks gorilla the way he talks.
Communication.
He might be able to get an understanding that she's, hey man, I want to do not say Israel. And then that gorilla's just like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
I got Sly. Steroids don't care about your age. They work the same. He's knocking that gorilla out.
Yeah.
Clears it.
100%.
Who's your number 5 pick?
Now, I picked my number 5 guy based off of the fact that I think the gorilla is done for at this point.
So this is just finishing touches.
Conor McGregor. He's going to come in and taunt the shit out of that gorilla.
Who the fuck do you think
is this guy? Laying on the ground, just beaten down by 10 Shaqs, 10 David Robinson.
You look like a walking carpet. Like, what is he going to say?
He's gonna psych that gorilla out so hard he might retreat. Now, who's your last pick?
My last pick isn't as good as Conor McGregor.
What is?
But I went with a threat that's invisible. One that a gorilla's going to have a hard time even seeing.
The crippling economy?
John Cena.
Same thing. Nice.
He's not going to find him.
No.
And even if he does, I would just love for a gorilla to be staring at John Cena being like, I'm going to beat the crap out of this white guy. And all of a sudden, he starts speaking Mandarin fluently to this gorilla. And it would be a collision of worlds that are unimaginable. John Cena is my number 10 pick.
All right.
And I honestly think we could achieve beating this gorilla with our 10 picks.
Yeah.
And we even threw Taylor Swift in there. She could do the most damage if she got into a relationship with the gorilla and then wrote a song about him.
No, the gorilla would be Jim Gorilla after Taylor Swift. He would get even more yoked. He would be feeling so bad. He would gain at least 50 pounds of pure muscle. Go from.
I feel like 50 is nothing for a gorilla. I feel like his right toe weighs 50.
No.
I don't know how much they weigh.
They're like 400 pounds, I think.
No, gorilla's got to be more than that.
No.
I thought it was like a ton.
No.
That's 2,000, right?
Yes.
That's a lot.
No shot.
How much is an elephant?
I think it's around 450. I don't know the weight of an elephant. Not off the top of my head.
Elephants are in tons.
The only reason I know why gorillas are 400 is because there's been so much media.
A gorilla is not 400 pounds.
I guarantee you it is.
I'm going to have to go minimum 650.
All right.
Because a whale,
wanna bet?
actually, a whale's a little bit bigger than a gorilla. You might be right. Let's move on. We got a really fun segment coming up. This is for our NFL lovers. We're going to be doing a King of the Hill style matchup.
Yep.
Ben's going to be ranking the NFC quarterbacks King of the Hill style. I'm going to throw random quarterbacks at him. He's going to have to either stick or pick the next one. And he's going to give me AFC quarterbacks.
Yep.
You want to go first?
I'll start with the AFC ones.
All right, let's go.
First two quarterbacks going against each other. CJ Stroud versus Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. That was easy for me.
Any reasoning? Or
Yeah. I like the mobility. I like the way he can handle pressure.
Yeah.
Playoff performance.
Leave something to be desired.
But I do think it will improve. And I think he did well. Was it Andrews who missed the catch this year?
Yeah.
He put it right there for him.
Yeah.
He was very close to winning that game. I give it to Lamar. I'm taking Lamar over CJ.
Okay. Yeah. CJ's kind of a
And that's no
statue in the
disrespect to CJ.
pocket. No, yeah. I mean,
But I'm sorry.
anybody going up against a two-time MVP is going to be
I'm
tough.
going to take Lamar.
Yeah. Now, Lamar versus Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Really?
Yeah, I got to go Joe.
Okay, why?
If he had an O-line, he would be such an effective and talked about quarterback.
Yeah.
When he did, he was arguably one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
People were singing his praise. And that's when he was new in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's had some injury issues lately, but I honestly think I haven't seen a more efficient passer. I got to go Joe. He's not as mobile as Lamar. He's not as, I don't think he's as flashy. Let me say that.
Yeah.
I think a quarterback who's mobile and runs gets you more attention. They find it to be more impressive. Mahomes, he walks 5 yards and they're like, Troy Aikman, oh my God. So
That's the best thing I've seen since Patrick
the
Mahomes.
way Patrick Mahomes, he's got 2 feet, too. It's like, yeah. No, I got to go Joe Burrow. Icy.
Interesting. Because, Joe Burrow's gotten 2 major injuries in his career of 5 years. So, the best ability is availability.
Joe Burrow.
Okay, we'll move on. Joe Burrow.
Let me ask you this. If you put Joe Burrow on the Ravens, do you think they do better? I do.
No.
Really?
No, because I think the Ravens are built around Lamar. I think that they
Okay,
built
that's
that
actually a
offensive
very
line.
fair statement.
I think if you put Lamar on the Bengals, I also don't think they do as well.
Well, no, I don't think they're built for that type of game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
They're not
they're
compatible.
different teams.
I would go Joe.
I get it. Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. And I don't like doing that.
No.
I will admit I am a Patrick Mahomes hater for a few reasons. None of which are really his fault. I don't like the way people talk about him, comparing him to Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
It's like, give it some time, please. And also, let's look at the the teams that are surrounded. Patrick Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. He's revolutionized shovel passing. He's a fantastic player. Yeah, I got to pick him over Burrow.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you have to look at what they've done.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I remember when Tyreek Hill left and they were like, how's he going to do? He did absolutely fine.
He won 2 Super Bowls.
Didn't phase him whatsoever. And now it looks like he's got a lot going on for that guy. He's got a few issues.
That's an understatement.
But, yeah, I mean, I got to go Mahomes.
Yeah. No, I get it. Now,
Final round?
I don't know how you're... No, I've got one more after this. Mahomes versus Justin Herbert.
This is tough. I remember watching their game this year.
Yeah.
And betting on their game this year.
And not doing well in betting in their game this year.
No, I lost. I bet against the Chiefs.
That's probably not a good idea.
You know, Herbert doesn't have the team surrounding him or the coaching surrounding him that Mahomes has.
Harbaugh's a pretty good coach, though. But he's not Andy Reid.
He's not Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I have to go Mahomes.
Yeah.
But that made me think. I don't think Herbert's as far behind as people think.
Herbert made you think more than Burrow?
He actually did.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
That's not true. I'm sorry. Burrow did make me think more. But, I mean, I got to go Mahomes.
Yeah.
I hate picking him.
No, I get it. All right. Last one I got for you. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen.
I'm going to use the same argument I used previously. If I put Josh Allen on the Chiefs, I see the same record. I don't see the Chiefs losing the games that they've won if you swap out Mahomes for Allen. If you put Mahomes on the Bills, I might see Mahomes being just as successful with the Bills, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs.
No.
The fact that Allen hasn't been able to do it, they've gone head-to-head multiple times. I know he hasn't had a better supporting cast than Mahomes has, but I really do think if you put Mahomes on that team, and again, that's conjecture. It hasn't happened. There's no proof.
Yeah.
I hate to do it. I got to go Mahomes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I like Allen more. I am impressed by Allen more. But looking at what he's been able to do, I have to go Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, it's hard to pick anybody over a guy in the AFC that's won more Super Bowls than the rest of the quarterbacks combined.
But it doesn't. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean you're the better player.
No,
I
but
mean,
he's still.
But yeah, I have to go Mahomes.
Yeah.
So let's transform into the NFC. You ready for a fun start here?
I'm so ready.
I got Jared Goff.
Okay.
Versus Baker Mayfield. Who are you taking?
Baker.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I think Goff really has to be in a system that favors exactly what he does. I think Detroit is a good place for that, obviously. They have an amazing O-line. They have great weapons. Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, Gibbs, Montgomery out the backfield. But the main thing that he needs is a great offensive line, and Detroit has a top 3, if not the best offensive line in the league. Baker doesn't necessarily need that. If you can be a quarterback that wins a playoff game for the Cleveland Browns, you're doing something right. That is just...
And again, they did lose to the Commanders this year, but that was a close game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was close.
That was
the
close.
whole time. And
you look at what the Commanders went on to do.
Yeah.
It's no fluke. So
no,
that's impressive. You put up more of a fight, I would say, than Jared Goff did against the Commanders.
Yeah. No, 100%. Now, to be fair, Frankie Louvu concussed the shit out of Jared Goff on the third quarter.
And then he threw an interception.
No, he threw an interception before he got concussed. But then he threw another one after. So it's okay.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's the right pick.
Yeah.
I agree. Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford. The cannon himself.
That's so close.
Stafford's a dog.
If this was 5 years ago, I 100% would take Stafford in an instant.
I feel like even in his age, he's still a great quarterback.
No, he's great.
Didn't he dislocate his shoulder one game and popped it back in and threw?
Yeah, threw a touchdown.
I mean,
yeah. No, he's amazing.
I'm so happy he won a Super Bowl.
Throughout the early years of me watching the NFL, watching him play Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers would always overshadow him, but all I could think about was how great Matt Stafford was.
On a Detroit team that didn't give him help.
Exactly. But you know what? I'm going to go Matt Stafford. I think I have to. I think
I nudged you a little bit. I do apologize, but
it's tough because I think.
And again, this is no shade at any of these players.
Yeah,
obviously,
they're obviously
fantastic
all
quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're all top 14, 13, 12 quarterbacks. But
you're like CJ really brought down that ranking.
No, but I think Baker does have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving out of the backfield. So he has a solid cast.
Yeah.
Now, the Buccaneers are known for their defense. Up until this past year, so were the Rams. But the Ram defense was not as good as it was with Aaron Donald, obviously.
Well,
top.
That's a big piece.
Probably
a literally big piece to be missing.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see what Los Angeles will look like this season, replacing Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm going with Matt Stafford.
I agree. All right, now you got Matthew Stafford versus Brock Purdy.
Matthew Stafford. That's almost immediate. I think Brock is great. I think that people talk a lot of crap about Brock, and he doesn't deserve a lot of it. But on the other hand,
also, he's a great story.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, last pick of the draft, getting a $260 million contract.
Living in an apartment.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, I do think Brock is also kind of one of those Jared Goff guys that needs everything to go right for him to look good. He needs that O-line. This past year, they did not look like the same team whatsoever. Now, I will say they had almost their entire team hurt at one point, and he was the only one left standing. So it is tough, but sometimes it looks like he needs the Avengers to look great.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
So I'm going to go Stafford.
Well, I got a next one for you. I don't know who this is. Sorry, I'm having a hard time pronouncing it. Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels against everybody.
JD5?
JD5. I'm going Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Against Stafford?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
I mean, I think if I had the choice between Jesus Christ and Jaden Daniels, one, I would have a hard time telling them apart. But two,
yeah,
how many touchdowns has Jesus thrown in a conference final?
All right, we're getting into blasphemy. Let's go ahead and hop off that. But
Jaden Daniels over Stafford.
Jaden over Stafford. I think that what Jaden was able to do this year and his first year as an NFL quarterback is nothing short of amazing. And while I think Stafford was great in Detroit, now obviously I don't think Detroit had a team that was as good as Washington or coached as well as Dan Quinn. But the fact that
regardless,
Stafford went into Detroit and didn't make the playoffs for so long compared to Jaden Daniels, who went into a team that had 4 wins and went to the NFC Championship, that doesn't compare.
You can surround yourself with the best cast.
Yeah.
And make it to the playoffs. That doesn't mean you're a great player.
No.
Jaden Daniels had amazing stats and amazing clutch plays as a rookie.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the team you're surrounded by.
Mm-mm.
That's on him.
Yep.
His composure, the way he plays the game, that's who he is.
Yeah.
You got to go Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts.
Jaden Daniels.
You pick Jaden Daniels over the reigning Super Bowl champion quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
Yep. I think that Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. But I think if you took Jalen Hurts and you put him on the Commanders this year, they don't get close to the NFC Championship game.
Really?
I don't think so. Now, of course, the Eagles did beat the brakes off the Commanders in that NFC Championship game.
But you're saying if you swap quarterbacks, results the same.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, I think if you take Jaden Daniels and you put him onto that Eagles squad,
nothing's different.
They win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They do the exact same thing that they did this past year. And I think Jaden can make every throw that Jalen can make. I think that Jaden can make every run that Jalen can make.
I think more than that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying in terms of meeting expectations.
No, I completely understand.
So,
I mean, you look at the throws he had. He had memorable throws. I feel like he's got a highlight reel. He's 1 year in.
Yeah, I was watching Jaden Daniels highlights last night. It was amazing.
I got a bonus one for you. Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott. Who are you picking?
Now, which version of Dak Prescott are we going?
The one that burns money.
Oh, that one.
And ruins a franchise.
The $60 million one?
That one.
Okay.
And again, he seems like a very nice guy. I feel terrible talking bad about him, but
man, this is tough. I'd probably take Jaden Daniels without one of his legs.
I was going to say, I would take a one-leg Jaden Daniels. He'd probably still be more mobile.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, Dak is mobile, but, some of those runs result in him tearing his ACL. So,
yeah,
not a good look. But
insulting a guy's ACL now? Is that what we've stooped to? Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's fair. I think Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback. You obviously think so. You have him as number one quarterback in the NFC.
Yep.
For my AFC, I had to go Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Which
and this was
sucks.
tough because there's 85 billion great quarterbacks
in the AFC.
And then in the NFC.
Well, we're not going to compare AFC to NFC.
No.
I just don't think it's a fun conversation right now. Maybe in a few years, maybe in 3 years, it's more exciting.
No. I don't think anybody. I think the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, I'm going to say in no particular order, are Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Jaden Daniels. And I don't think that top 5 is going to change.
And I don't think Jaden's top 3. No offense.
No, but I think he's.
I might put him 4. I might put him above Lamar.
Put him 4. I think he's 4.
Yeah, but
You'd put him over Lamar?
I would put him over Lamar.
Interesting.
I would.
Okay.
He's got the clutch gene. He's already done better in the postseason, in my opinion, than Lamar has.
Yeah, he has more wins. No,
Yeah.
Actually, I think he has the same amount.
I don't think it's more wins.
I think he has the same amount of postseason wins as Lamar does in his career.
With what? How many less appearances?
4.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, we're lucky. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great football to watch this year. You ready for hot shots?
No.
I got a good question.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll think of one.
This is off the cuff.
Off the dome, actually.
Off the dome.
Off the dome.
Off the
I'm going to ask you an NBA one.
Okay.
And it will be not multiple choice.
Thank you.
Wait.
Wait. Reverse.
You got scared.
Let's go. What do we got?
When was the last time? And this is a very... No, don't give me that. This is a very easy question. Even if you don't watch the NBA, you should know this.
You're just adding insult to injury. You'd have to be a moron.
Well, yeah, pretty much. When was the last time there was a back-to-back champion in the NBA?
Warriors?
What year?
What's your problem, dude? What is your problem?
No, good job. I'll give that to you.
You will?
Yeah.
You'll give that to me?
Yeah.
Now I will give you a date.
Oh.
Man, I thought it was earlier. 18, 19? When?
17, 18.
17, 18. God.
You were close, yeah.
Because I knew it was right around when the Caps won. Everyone was talking about him. It was a huge deal. I mean, when I was growing up, Steph Curry really took over.
Oh, yeah.
Are you giving me that?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, what can I say?
I got a good one for you.
I'm a man of the people.
For Capitals outdoor games.
Oh, crap.
This is a 2-part question.
I'm not going to get either of them.
You will. They've played 4 games. How many of them have they won and how many of them have they lost? I think you can do this. I'll give you a multiple choice.
Wait, how many of them have they won and how many have they lost? That's just
well, that's just the first part, asshole. All right, I still got a second part. If you'd be patient, Ben.
I'm gonna go with they've won 1.
I feel like such an idiot. You think they've won 1?
Yeah.
Okay. They've lost 1. They've won 3.
Oh, I was close.
Winter Classic versus Penguins, they won. Winter Classic versus Chicago, they won. Stadium versus Toronto, they won. Those years
I
they
forgot
won the Cup.
this isn't playoff Washington.
We root for the same team, then. Why are we doing this?
I
like Jaden Daniels.
They've caused me so much sadness in the
There's a lot
last
of
week
trauma.
that I just can't.
If you can get this second part right,
I don't even want to do it anymore.
I'll give you redemption. It's going to be multiple choice.
Okay.
The Capitals have played 3 of the 4 teams I'm about to list in an outdoor game. You have to pick a team that they didn't play.
Okay.
Carolina,
Yeah.
Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and Philadelphia. Carolina, Toronto, Chicago, and Philadelphia.
The team they haven't played?
What's the team they haven't played in an outdoor game?
Philadelphia.
That is correct. They
Now,
played...
I'm not going to lie. You did say 2 of those teams before when you...
No, I know, but still. You gave me redemption. We'll both take a shot out of solidarity.
Hooray.
Hooray! What we have today is Tiger Sauce, the original.
The OG.
The OG Tiger.
Not
That
Wood.
came out way too fast. Speaking of Tiger, how's Tiger Woods doing?
I really don't know. I hope... Not going to continue with that.
What is he not doing well?
I don't know, and I don't care. All right, ready? That guy's such a loser.
Hey, he's the GOAT.
He's a goat, I agree, but he's kind of a piece of shit.
No, he's so good at hitting things. You see that tree? He's fantastic. All right.
Why is mine so much bigger than...
That's what she said. Mom!
Not even the spike.
Roar!
It's just a reaction. That one's
You
a little
got a tear?
spicy.
Who? You know what they have?
What they what?
They got pepper flakes in there, baby.
I just choked on that because of your reaction.
It's in my ears.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. So we'll go ahead and no milk.
No milk.
I'm out of milk. All right. That's all we got for you guys today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys so much. Please let us know if you would pick differently for the AFC and NFC King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite quarterback? That's all I got. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.